What if the secret to unstoppable success isn't a breakthrough, but a small decision you make before breakfast? Imagine waking up each day, not waiting for motivation, but becoming the kind of person who moves forward, no matter what. If you're tired of starting over, maybe it's time to stop giving yourself the option to quit. How do you make progress every single day, no matter what life throws at you? That's the question we need to answer, because life doesn't wait until you feel ready. It doesn't pause when you're tired, uncertain, or lacking motivation. Life keeps moving, relentlessly, and the key to true success, the kind that feels fulfilling deep down, is to ensure that you're moving with it. Now let's be clear. Progress doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. It doesn't have to impress anyone else. It doesn't even need to be visible right away, but it does need to be consistent. Just a little movement every single day, no matter how small, adds up over time. Because, believe it or not, the most incredible transformations rarely come from a single grand decision or a stroke of luck. They're the quiet result of small, committed actions repeated day in and day out. The truth is, most people are stuck, waiting for inspiration to strike, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting until everything feels just right. But motivation, it's unreliable. The perfect time? That almost never arrives. And feeling ready? That's a myth we tell ourselves. The people who achieve extraordinary things aren't those with perfect circumstances. They're the ones who took action in spite of imperfection. So how do you do that? How do you keep moving forward when you're drained? When life feels heavy? When results aren't showing up as quickly as you'd hoped? That's exactly what we're diving into. Not vague theories or wishful thinking, but real, practical strategies to help you gain value from every single day. Because at the core of progress lies a decision. And when you understand how it works, how to build daily momentum, nothing will be able to stand in your way. Progress starts with one powerful shift. Stop negotiating with yourself. Most people wake up and immediately start bargaining with their own mind. Should I get up now or snooze a bit longer? Do I really have to go to the gym today? Can this goal wait just one more day? But here's the problem. Every time you offer yourself a choice, you open the door to an excuse. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It asks whether you'll do what you committed to do. The most successful people don't waste time debating. They act. They follow through. Because they know if your day starts with hesitation, you're already losing ground. Here's a secret most people overlook. The first decision of your day shapes the rest. Win your morning, and you spark a wave of momentum. Lose it, and excuses become easier to justify. So how do you regain control? You stop treating your standards as flexible. You make them non-negotiable, not based on your mood, not up for discussion. Just what you do. You wake up when you said you would. You move, even if your body protests. You make progress on your goals, even when no one's watching. And what does this build over time? Self-respect. True confidence doesn't come from talent or luck. It comes from trust. Do you trust yourself to keep your promises? Most people don't. They've broken too many commitments to themselves to believe in their own words anymore. But there's hope. You can rebuild that trust. Each time you follow through, even in the smallest of ways, you send yourself a message. I keep my word. And that, little by little, rewires your self-belief. Now let's talk about one of the biggest threats to lasting progress. The all-or-nothing mindset. It's the belief that if something can't be done perfectly, it's not worth doing at all. This is dangerous, because life is unpredictable, circumstances shift, and if your success depends on flawless execution, you're setting yourself up for failure. The truth is simple. Something is always better than nothing. No time for a full workout? Do 10 minutes. Can't read for an hour? Read 5. Don't feel like building your business? Make one call. Send one email. Small steps still move you forward. Because at the end of the day, progress isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. Now, as we move forward, let's dive even deeper into how to build that unstoppable momentum, one daily habit at a time. We've said that progress doesn't require perfection. It just requires you to never stop. And that's when you realize every little step counts, because it keeps you moving forward. Progress is about staying in motion, even if it's just a small, barely noticeable step. Because the truth is, motion, any motion, means you're not standing still. And when you're not standing still, you're not stuck. You're growing, shifting, evolving. Think about this. If you commit to improving just 1% every day, you won't just be 365% better in a year. Thanks to the power of compounding, you'll actually become more than 37 times better. That's not just improvement. It's transformation. It's the power of tiny, deliberate choices stacking over time to create unstoppable momentum. Little by little, they build into something so much bigger than the sum of their parts. But there's another element: focus. If you want to make real progress every single day, you must take control of where your attention goes, because what you focus on expands. Most people waste valuable energy worrying about things they can't influence. They zero in on what's lacking, what's broken, what's wrong. But that kind of focus drains you. It leads you nowhere. In contrast, people who consistently grow choose to focus on what they can do. They look at possibilities, not problems. They direct their energy toward action, not obstacles. So ask yourself, what are you focusing on each day? Are you consumed by what's out of reach, or are you searching for your next move forward? Because progress isn't about luck. It's not about having everything lined up perfectly. It's about what you choose to give your energy to, day in, day out. And once that wheel starts turning, something powerful kicks in: momentum. Once you begin moving, continuing becomes so much easier. And when you finally break through that internal resistance, the doubts, the fears, the mental friction, you often realize it was never as heavy as it seemed. But sadly, most people never reach that moment. Why? Because of hesitation. Hesitation is silent but deadly. It doesn't just slow you down, it can freeze you completely. Think back to a time you wanted to speak up, take a chance, go for something, but you paused. And in that pause, the window closed, the moment passed, and the opportunity faded. To truly move forward, you don't need perfect decisions. You just need decisions. Progress demands decisiveness. The best way to defeat hesitation? Shrink the space between thought and action. Here's what that looks like. The longer you dwell on whether to act, the more likely you are to talk yourself out of it. So, don't wait. Decide, then move. Count down from 5 and just do it. Don't overthink. Don't allow fear to sneak in and steal your moment, because here's something most people misunderstand. Action builds confidence, not the other way around. You don't need to feel brave to act. You act, and that's what creates bravery. The more you move forward, the better you become. And as you improve, your confidence grows. It's a cycle, but it only starts when you choose action over comfort. Think of a rocket launch. The most fuel is burned in the first few minutes just to break through the atmosphere. But once it's past that barrier, movement becomes effortless. That's how progress works. The beginning is the hardest, but push past that, and everything starts to shift. And that's why discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation is the spark. It lights the fire. But discipline, that's the fuel that keeps the fire alive. So how do you build discipline? By keeping the promises you make to yourself. By doing the hard things, especially when you don't feel like it. Every time you push through discomfort, you're training your mind to be stronger, more reliable, more focused. Discipline isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. And it grows with repetition. The first few times you wake up early, brutal. The 10th time, manageable. The 100th time, it's second nature. But what happens on the days when everything feels off? When your motivation is gone? When life throws distractions at you from every angle? That's the moment where you must take emotion out of the equation, because letting your feelings dictate your actions is a surefire way to stall your progress. In the next part, we'll uncover exactly how to rise above your emotions and build unshakable habits, no matter what the day throws your way. Ready? Let's keep moving. Most people put off their goals the moment they don't feel like it. They procrastinate, waiting for the right mood, the right energy, the right time. But successful individuals, they don't operate on how they feel. They operate on commitment. They've trained themselves to show up regardless of emotions. This means they do the work even when it's uncomfortable, inconvenient, or far from ideal. They take the next step, even when conditions aren't perfect, because they understand something crucial. Feelings are temporary. They shift like the weather. But the results you're after? Those are earned through consistency, not convenience. And that brings us to a truth worth repeating. Real results come from repeated action. If you want to see progress, you need to stay consistent. Not just once in a while, not just when it's easy, but every single day. So here's a powerful question to reflect on. What's one small thing you can do today, right now, that will move you closer to your goals? Because progress isn't some grand, one-time event. It's a habit. It's the slow, steady rhythm of showing up. And it's not about racing ahead at full speed. It's about heading in the right direction. You see, many people believe success requires massive, sweeping change. They think they need to flip their entire life upside down overnight. But that's not how transformation actually happens. True progress happens in small, consistent steps, taken daily, stacked over time. But here's where things get tricky. We live in a culture that glorifies instant gratification. Everyone wants quick wins, fast hacks, and overnight success. They want the shortcut, the magic formula that delivers results without the process. But in chasing quick fixes, they overlook the power of quiet, steady improvement. Just imagine this. If you become just 1% better every single day, you won't be 365% better by the end of the year. Thanks to the power of compounding, you'll be over 37 times better. That's how mastery is built. Not overnight, but over time through persistent daily effort. Now let's talk about something that silently derails progress. Overcomplication. Far too many people stay stuck because they overthink every move. They plan, analyze, research, but they never take action. They tell themselves they need the perfect plan, the perfect conditions, the perfect moment. But the truth is, perfection is a trap. It paralyzes more dreams than failure ever could. Success doesn't require having all the answers. It requires movement. Clarity doesn't come from sitting still. It comes from taking steps. The more you move, the more the path reveals itself. Picture a car driving down a dark road at night. The headlights only show a few meters ahead, but that's enough to keep moving. You don't need to see the entire road. You just need to see the next step. So let's get practical. If you want to make real progress each day, you need to start with a clear target. Most people don't lack willpower. They lack direction. They wake up with no roadmap, no specific aim, and they drift through their day. And drifting? It leads nowhere. Instead of vague goals like, I want to be fit, say, I will exercise for 30 minutes every day. Instead of saying, I want to be successful, say, I will make 5 sales calls today. Specific, measurable goals give you clarity, and clarity fuels momentum. Now here's something that amplifies momentum even more. Tracking your progress. Because what gets measured gets improved. If you're not tracking your actions, how will you know whether you're truly improving? But here's the trick. Don't just track outcomes. Track your effort. Results aren't always in your control, but your actions are. Take the example of building a business. You can't force someone to say yes. But you can control how many people you contact, how many emails you send, how many doors you knock on. And when you stay consistent with your effort, the results tend to follow. So now that you understand the power of showing up daily with clear goals and focused effort, let's take it further. In the next part, we'll break down how to stay consistent even when life throws chaos your way, because real discipline is forged in the hard moments. Let's keep going. The truth is, your environment has a profound impact on your ability to grow and make consistent progress. Most people don't fail because they lack discipline or ambition. They fail because they're surrounded by distractions, negativity, and excuses that slowly chip away at their drive. If you spend your time around people who constantly complain, you'll eventually start seeing life through the same lens. If you're living or working in a chaotic, cluttered space, your mind becomes just as cluttered, scattered, unfocused, and drained. That's why you must intentionally design an environment that supports and pulls you toward the version of yourself you want to become. Want to eat healthier? Fill your kitchen with healthy food so the right choice becomes the easy choice. Want to read more? Put books in places where they're visible, accessible, on your nightstand, your desk, your backpack. Want to stay focused? Remove distractions from your workspace so your attention can flow toward your goals. In short, set yourself up to win. Don't rely on willpower alone. Now let's talk about something equally essential, resilience. Because no matter how prepared, how disciplined, or how well-structured your environment is, life will still test you. There will be off days. There will be failures, delays, unexpected curveballs. It's inevitable. The key is to not let one bad day spiral into a bad week. If you miss a workout today, don't skip tomorrow. If you fall off track, course correct immediately. Progress isn't about never stumbling. It's about never choosing to stay down. Every day, you face a choice. Will I move forward, or will I stay stuck? The ones who win. They keep going, even when it's hard, even when they're tired, even when things go wrong. But there's another layer, alignment. Because it's not just about taking action, it's about taking the right action. You can be busy every day, hustling nonstop. But if your energy is pointed in the wrong direction, you won't get closer to your vision. Imagine paddling a boat with all your strength, but heading upstream against the current. You're exhausted, yet not truly progressing. So here's the question you need to reflect on. Are your daily actions aligned with your ultimate vision? Many people fill their calendars with tasks and checklists, but never stop to ask if those tasks are actually moving them forward. They stay occupied but not effective. To avoid that trap, you must build the habit of reflection. Don't just go from one task to the next, one week to the next, blindly. Pause, evaluate, ask, is this still the right path? Am I drifting or driving toward my destination? The most successful people in the world don't just work hard. They stop to course correct. Think of a pilot flying across the globe. They don't set their route and go on autopilot. They constantly adjust for wind, turbulence, and unexpected conditions. You have to do the same with your life. If you never stop to measure your direction, how will you know if you're still on track? And now, let's shine a light on one of the most underrated keys to daily progress: energy management. You could have the best plan, the strongest mindset, and the most detailed goals. But if your energy is depleted, everything becomes harder. You can't perform at your best when you're running on empty. Many people obsess over time management, but time is useless if you don't have the energy to use it well. So ask yourself, what gives me energy? What drains me? Be honest. Look at your sleep, your food, your exercise, your screen time. Are they fueling you or draining you? If you're constantly tired, sluggish, distracted, that's a signal. You can't chase greatness while running on fumes. Small changes make a massive difference. Drink more water. Move your body. Get more restful sleep. These simple shifts may seem basic, but they are the foundation for sustained focus, performance, and long-term growth. And don't forget about mental energy. Just like you guard your time, you must also guard your mind. Negativity, toxic people, endless scrolling, constant comparison, these things drain you more than you realize. So ask yourself, who and what am I allowing into my mind every day? Because protecting your mental energy is just as vital as managing your physical strength. So let me ask you, what kind of conversations are you allowing into your space? What kind of thoughts are you feeding your mind each day? Because here's the truth. Your environment doesn't just influence your habits or your productivity. It shapes your beliefs. If you're constantly surrounded by people who make excuses, who blame everything but themselves, eventually, that becomes your norm. And if you fill your mind with negativity through social media, news, gossip, you start to see the world through a distorted lens, one filled with limits instead of opportunities. That's why protecting your energy is non-negotiable. Be intentional about what you expose your mind to. Be discerning about who you allow into your inner circle, because your future depends on the quality of your thoughts, and those thoughts are often shaped by the people and content around you. And now, we need to talk about something that silently kills progress more than almost anything else: frustration. One of the biggest reasons people give up is because they don't see results fast enough. They plant the seed but lose patience before it takes root. But here's the thing: success is never instant. Think about a bamboo tree. You plant the seed, you water it, you nourish the soil. For years, it looks like nothing is happening, no visible growth. But underground, something powerful is taking place. The roots are spreading, anchoring deep into the earth. Then, when the foundation is finally strong enough, it shoots upward, growing at a rate that seems impossible. That's exactly how real progress unfolds. You might not see results right away, but if you stay consistent, if you stay committed, the breakthrough will come. So don't let the silence fool you. Every small step you take, today, tomorrow, the next, is building something far greater than you can currently see. Every single day, you're faced with a simple but powerful choice. Will I stay the same, or will I move forward? The people who win don't make this choice once in a while. They make it every day. Because for them, progress isn't a destination. It's a way of life. Most people believe happiness will come after they reach the goal. After the money, the recognition, the success. But the truth is, fulfillment doesn't come from arriving. It comes from growing. If you're not growing, you're shrinking. If you're not moving forward, you're falling behind. That's why daily progress matters, not just for your goals, but for your soul. It keeps you alive in every sense of the word, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Now let's look at a concept that separates those who keep growing from those who stay stuck. Standards. Your standards dictate your life. What you accept, what you tolerate, what you demand from yourself. These are the invisible rules that shape your outcomes. Many people fail to progress simply because they set their standards too low. They tolerate inconsistency. They allow excuses. They settle for less than their potential. But those who keep rising, they raise their standards. They refuse to coast. They refuse to give half-hearted effort. They demand more, not because someone's watching, but because they've decided, this is who I choose to be. So ask yourself honestly, what are your standards? Are you holding yourself to the level of discipline, focus, and effort that will lead to real progress? Or are you negotiating with yourself? Because here's the hard truth. Your results will never exceed your standards. And now let's address something that seems contradictory, but is absolutely essential. Rest. Yes, rest. Because you cannot sustain high performance without recovery. Progress doesn't come from pushing yourself to exhaustion. It comes from creating a sustainable rhythm between effort and renewal. If you burn yourself out, you break your progress. If you're constantly running on empty, your productivity crashes, your creativity vanishes, and your body starts to shut down. That's why rest isn't laziness, it's strategy, it's longevity. Think of an athlete preparing for peak competition. They don't train at max intensity every single day. They schedule recovery because that's when the body gets stronger. And your mind? It works the same way. Your energy? Same thing. So, build rest into your routine. Make space to recharge. Not because you're weak, but because you're wise. Drink water, move your body, sleep deeply, protect your focus. These small adjustments will multiply your capacity more than any shortcut ever could, because at the end of the day, progress isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. And those who understand that don't just go further, they last longer. Now that you've built the habits, the mindset, and the standards for sustainable progress, what comes next is learning how to lead yourself through the inevitable moments of doubt, distraction, and difficulty. Let's talk about something that has the power to elevate your progress beyond anything you could do alone: giving back. One of the most powerful and often overlooked accelerators of growth is helping someone else grow. When you do sambus, teach what you've learned, when you offer your support, when you lift someone else up, you grow too. Because true progress isn't just about you. It's about your impact. It's about the ripple effect you create when you choose to contribute. And here's the beautiful part. The more you give, the more you expand. Think of a candle lighting another candle. It doesn't lose its flame, it simply creates more light. That's exactly what happens when you share your experiences, your lessons, your wisdom. And here's something powerful. When you teach something to someone else, you're forced to understand it more deeply. You refine it. You organize it. You internalize it. And in doing so, you don't just become a source of growth for others. You become even better yourself. So as you continue striving for daily progress, don't just ask, "What can I get?" Ask, "What can I give?" Because that's where lasting fulfillment comes from. That's where progress transforms into purpose. And now, let's talk about a mindset that fuels sustained growth: gratitude. Most people get so focused on chasing the next achievement, the next milestone, the next goal, that they forget to appreciate how far they've already come. When your mind is constantly focused on what's missing, you begin to feel like you're never enough. But gratitude changes everything. It shifts your lens. It helps you recognize the progress you've made, no matter how small. It grounds you in the present. Every single day, take a moment to pause, to appreciate your growth. Even if it's just a little. Even if it's not where you ultimately want to be yet. Gratitude for where you are today fuels the energy to keep moving tomorrow. Here's the truth. Progress isn't about luck. It's not about waiting for the stars to align. It's about making a daily decision. A choice to move, not perfectly, not instantly, but consistently. And if you stay committed to that, if you make the effort to get just a little better, one day at a time, your life will begin to transform in ways you never imagined. Because progress isn't something you decide once. It's something you recommit to every single day, whether you feel like it or not, whether circumstances are ideal or not. Life isn't waiting for you to be ready. It keeps moving, with or without you. And those who thrive? They're the ones who make the decision to move forward no matter what. Now let's be honest. Some days will feel effortless. You'll wake up energized, focused, inspired. Everything clicks. The world feels like it's on your side. But what about the other days? What about the days when you're drained? When nothing seems to go right? When progress feels slow and results seem distant? When doubt starts to creep in and whispers, "Is this even worth it?" Those are the days that matter the most, because anyone can move forward when it's easy. What separates the successful from the average is the ability to keep going when it's hard, when it's quiet, when no one is clapping, when you're unsure and uncomfortable and everything inside you wants to quit. That's when character is forged. That's when grit is built. That's when your future is being shaped, one tough decision at a time. Because here's the reality. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. And if your habits are built around waiting, around inconsistency, around excuses, then no matter how big your dreams are, you'll never reach them. But if your habits are rooted in discipline, in consistency, in daily improvement, then nothing can stop you. Progress isn't about speed. It's about direction. One step forward, even the smallest one, is still progress. Those steps add up, quietly, steadily, powerfully. So ask yourself, what's one thing you can do today, not tomorrow, not next week, but right now, that moves you forward? Because deep down, you already know what to do. You don't need another motivational video. You don't need to read another book or take another course. The real question isn't what anymore. It's will you? Because the only way to fail is to stop. So don't stop. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Move forward every single day, no matter what. Because your future, it's already waiting for you. It's just one more step away.